Alrighty, she's going on out here today. I did some body work today and didn't turn the camera on. I apologize for that. I did Randy Struck, my neighbor, guy that came down yesterday. That shit wore me out, man. I don't like doing body work anymore. He pretty much had body work on every panel. Brought it down yesterday and it was one side, and today it was both sides in the roof. And yeah, knocked all the mud down for him. He was having a hard time spreading it smooth, and he was putting it on real choppy and putting too much Bondo on. What most people always do, they don't sand enough off. So, well, we got that done. I'm beat. I ran into a little deal with this tranny. I went to put my bushing in my tail housing yesterday. My tail housing right here. Now, from the inside of the transmission, the servo cover and stuff on the valve body, shit, it's a 72 or later, and apparently this is an obsolete tail housing, and this is for real early, I guess. It's got a really small, you can see the yoke is much smaller, the seal's smaller. You can see the seal difference here. So I bought a new aftermarket tail housing. Next I'm going to buy a whole case like that, man. That's just beautiful. But anyway, it comes with the bushing. It's reinforced back there. It's got extra gussets in it. And it comes with the bushing and the seal already installed. So that's that'll complete that. And I picked up my A&N fittings from my cooler lines. So we're going to take the factory female fittings off the transmission and install the A&N fittings so we can run cooler lines to the back of the car. I modified the governor and put the black springs in here so it's just basically locked out. And the only thing left on the tranny is to put the modulator valve delete in and the pressure booster spring, and the valve body should be done. I actually lost my instructions to the kit. This is, I had a few instructions, but I didn't have the proper ones, and I got this today. This might be interesting for anybody that's trying to build a tranny brake tranny. This is what you have to do to make a tranny brake tranny, and I figured I'd just pick this literature up while I was there. It's how to modify the case and where you install check balls and all that stuff. And then it has a wiring schematic of how the tranny brake is wired and operated. So we'll get into that when we use this tranny over here. So I'll just throw these instructions in that box. And let me open up this valve body and see what they did. I sent it over there because the instructions, I had the same problem that Anthony did. It had been photocopied so much that you couldn't really see where they were exactly talking about. So rather than drill a hole in the wrong place, I figured I'd send it over there. And while it was over there, one of the guys just grabbed the valve body and drilled the hole for me, and I think he did a few other things on here. So thank you guys over at FDI. You guys are always really great to deal with over there, and really intelligent bunch of guys for sure. Way over my pay grade, but anyway, we drilled a hole somewhere and we plugged something there, put a plug in here, and drilled a hole right there, down in there. I don't know if you can see that. Don't ask me what it does. It was just asking for it in the kit to replace the 1-2 check valve. And we remove the spring from under the servo. They want that gone, and they just want this reinstalled. So those are the modifications I did to the valve body. We made it a full manual, so you actually have to shift it. If you put it in drive, it'll still go through the gears, but you can manually control the transmission now. A turbo 400 or 350 will shift the 1-2 shift automatically, and that could be not what you want when you're trying to put power to the ground. It shifts too soon. So this will program it and let it shift the correct time. And got a nice tail housing we'll put on there, and I'll get this put in the car in the next day or two, and then we can measure for our drive shaft. That's our next major expense. So I did do one thing. I've been trying to do one thing on this thing every day, and as little as it seems like, you know, I came out here this morning and finished this cable. You know, I soldered all these ends on, heat shrink the cover, and this will go to the solenoid right there, from the alternator to the Ford solenoid back to the battery. I got to drill a hole in the firewall. There's plenty of holes in there, but not one where I need it, so I can wire the MSD. The MSD needs a 12-volt battery source, so they want you to wire it to a direct 12-volt source. You know, they don't want you to pull power from a fuse panel or anything. They want it right off the lug, basically. So that's what we're doing there. Oh, where's my solder and flux? I got that little torch, man. That thing is the shizzle for soldering for sure. But that's where we're at with that. One wire done on my car. I didn't get the guy's truck done, and he really appreciated it. He's going to go do some work over at the new house for me, because I'm not really good at that kind of stuff, or I just don't like to do anything, I guess, anymore. But this is going on. I got some supplies today. Finished putting this stuff up. Like I said, I went in and took a little break and fell asleep. Paint sales have been like crazy, so there's some quart cans. That seems to be what people buy most of, quarts. I got a couple gallons and some pints, and then I got some sandpaper. I've been trying to restock my cabinet, because it's just you know, you use this stuff. When I was doing rental cars or car lot stuff, I was burning through my stuff, and I haven't resupplied. So I did run into a little bit of problem the other day. Sort of pisses me off, but you know, better pissed off than pissed on, I guess. My stud gun slide hammers disappeared from the shop, so I hope whoever has that is enjoying it. I don't have an idea. We'll just buy another one and leave well enough alone. Some people are desperater than others, and whatever. I'm past the conflict point in my life, so it's easier for me just to replace it and not have the bullshit. But anyway, probably gonna have to buy a stud gun kit, and I might be giving my stud gun away if anybody's interested in that. It's you know, it's an older one. It is a Stinger though, but I doubt I can buy just a slide hammer. So yeah, that's coming up. Put some sandpaper and stuff, wet and dry paper, 3M paper, and got all the toners put up. I haven't found anywhere for the clear. I got a house full of clear and primer, and I need to find somewhere for that out here, or I'm gonna have to run a little warehouse somewhere. I came across this primer. I want to say it's like $50 a kit. No, 50 or 60. It's cheap. And the guy was telling me how badass the primer was. And usually the guy at the warehouse really doesn't know. It's only badass to them when they sell a lot of it. And you know, their theory is if they sell a lot of it, it's got to be good. So they gave me some of this primer to use, and I used some on a couple little projects around here, and I really like the way it worked. It does seem to shrink a little bit in the cup, but there it is right there, XBX 55. But this stuff is hard as a brick, dude. This is the puck. Normally the puck, you leave a puck exposed out of the cup, it'll crack open. And this stuff didn't do that. It's very hard. I bet Roger could even do his hammer test on this. It would probably hold up. Let me see. If Roger's watching, we'll hit it with a hammer for him. There's a big one, Roger. I'll stick that on the floor and see how hard this shit is. It's pretty hard shit for 4-to-1 primer. It has more characteristics like a feather fill, you know, like a MEK primer. Anyway, thought that was pretty interesting. I've been using that primer and having really good luck with it. And of course, I have the $200 primer too. But that's what's happening around here. I thought I'd push the record button. I'm gonna put some air in that tire right now before I forget about it. And tomorrow I got to do lunch with Steve. They're coming back in town. Is that tomorrow? Yeah, today's Tuesday. We're going to lunch Wednesday. I go to the hospital Thursday for some bullshit. Driveway's getting a little more empty every day. But anyway, my bug's been back here in perils for about a week or two with a flat tire, flat slick. So I just bought these and I'm killing them. But, you know, it's easy to lose interest around here. It's easy to lose interest. Look at this bullshit. Is this happening to everybody or is it just me? This hose is got a mind of its own now. It's harder than a rock. And it's always in a knot. So it's time for an air hose. I haven't made the plunge on that yet. So many air hoses out there, you don't even know what to buy, even when you sell them, you know. I don't know what to tell people. I know Tommy She likes those green ones. They seem to work pretty good. They're supposed to be real soft and not get hard. I can tell you if it's a PVC hose, like this stuff, when it gets cold, it wants to break. That's how I blew my arm off right here. Of course, the tire wasn't bolted to the car. Yeah. Never blow any of these Mitchell wheels up. Make sure it's got a rim bolted to it. Because when those two halves come apart, they have a lot of energy in them. I can tell you that from experience. I had one of those take my arm clean off at the elbow. I was laying on the ground. And they put it back on. One of those wheels blew up just like that. And I was sitting on top of it, mounting the drag radial, and it exploded. That's how I broke my neck. And that's what ripped my arm off. That's what they reattached my arm from. I was showing this to Steve the other day. I still keep it around just for a souvenir, but here's the wheel for you new subscribers. I hadn't heard the story. Well, there you go. That's the TIG weld right there. You can see the weld. It compromised and two halves came apart. This is the part that was on the floor. And you know, the other part, here's the rim together. So you get the concept. But here's what they look like in one piece. And you know, these are super lightweight. 7 pounds with a wheel and slick. And reciprocating weight is horsepower. And they've always worked real well. But there's a limit to these wheels. And if you look at this wheel, if you guys run these wheels, this is the danger sign right here. And if you never listened to anything I've said before, you might want to sit a little closer to your computer right now and pay attention. But if you look at this wheel, I don't know if it's going to show up in the camera, you can see a line. It's raised up all the way around the wheel. And it's very faint. It looks like, you know, it just looks like the wheel's made that way. And in this light, it's hard to see. You can see it when I turn the wheel, right at the edge there. That's the weld coming apart. That's your first sign. And when I was blowing this bad boy up, I had it sitting on the floor like a dumbass. Anytime you do anything like this and you're going to mount a tire, it should be in a cage, or it should have a drum bolted to it. And then it should have a clip-on air fitting. And then you should have 2 air hoses, and where you can clip the air hoses together and stand back while the wheel pops on the bead. And I knew all that stuff. I was taught much better, and I was in a hurry. I mounted the first tire up without incident, and the second one I was sitting just like we're sitting talking right now, and had my hand blowing the tire up. And it was slow motion. I saw this start to delaminate, and it felt like somebody grabbed me on my shoulder. and I was alone in the shop, which is the scary part. And I ended up through the ceiling, and I came back through and landed on the roll-up door. So it blew me about 15 foot through the shop and about 10 feet up in the ceiling. And it had a lot of energy. It sounded like a bomb going off when this piece left the bottom of the wheel. So, good God, man, if you ever mount a tire and you're using these, please be careful, because they're not very strong, and the failure happens very quick. That's the only sign you get, is that little line right there. And I saw it. I polished these wheels before I put the tires on and really didn't pay any attention to that line, even though I saw it. And you know, that's what cost me my arm. And that was probably one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life. You know, I personally did it into myself. You know, I remember laying in the hospital thinking that, you know, I don't know how I'm ever going to provide for my family with one arm. And luckily they reattached it. And although I'm not 100%, I can still get out of here and do a little bit of stuff and still function a little bit. So I thank God every day that I'm still breathing air. So there's a little story for you. Story time. I'm going to go ahead and hit it. It's been a long day for me. I'm getting old. This bodywork stuff's really rough. That's a young man's game for sure. That's why you don't see too many old body men out there. And I watched the Old Time Garage videos today. Go check those guys out. Really good people. Go say hi to Dave over there. Dave's coming out with some shirts, and we all need to go buy a shirt over there. And Dave's Super Dave over there, the Super Body Man. So go check that show out over there. Old Time Garage, really good group of guys. Go subscribe over there. They're doing some really cool stuff, and I think you'll like that channel a lot. And check them out. Let me know what you think. Here's Angie with the nutritious Subway for dinner. I'm not really even hungry, but anyway. I'm going to stop babbling. Go ahead and push the stop button. And you guys have a wonderful night. Subscribe. Push that record button. And try to make the best of every day, because you never know when it's going to be your last one.